You know, I was half expecting for this song to stay in the key of D, but I think I'll wait for a little bit. Then we'll get to an introduction. Oh, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, mi, so, mi, do, mi, do, re, so, re, mi, do. And I forgot to say my name. Oh dear. That's the idea of trying to get a new introduction. And there's a part of me that needs to find new music and a way to play said music and vary it a little bit. Anyways, my name is Soprano Onobdy. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of well, it's a rather late Mother's Day thing. See, I was reminded of a bouquet of roses that I had found, or at least posted at one point. And these are pink. And I want to do something about that. Excuse me, I'm unfortunately not seated at the area where I need to construct them. It's unfortunate. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's see. Right then, and after a quick swap of the microphone from my workstation onto the table, we are set to go. And a little bit of light. Mind the ring. This is going to be a number, well, I guess a number of projects that I want to work on using this thing right here. And there is also the desire of wanting to do something with Pokemon that's related on here. This is all in relation to the cleaning assignment that High-Key has given me at this point. 1. With respect to this right here, I was able to locate that these are related to the subway station that is near my area. A blue line, an orange line, a red line, but something about a purple line's a bit off. I'd still need to... Well, but I still got it right. High-Key did mention that it was related to the subway station. No, they confirmed it, actually. So, likely the next assignment, after cleaning up my entire workstation area and my bedroom area, is to find out what's going on with this blue bead right here. Good news is that they have allowed a bit of a reprieve in my cleaning. What you saw right now a few days ago in my post is that I put in a little bit of effort in cleaning up the immediate workstation area. I managed to get my electronics, specifically the hard disk drives, and, well, anything related to external storage in one place. The computers and the other parts are still clean, or have been gussied up. And likewise, all the books are oriented underneath the table. Well, the majority of them, and enough foot space for it too. And while it is nice to sit on the floor, my legs seem to say otherwise, so I ended up getting a stool from the bathroom. Still meant to clean that for some point. Yeah. Well, let's get started first. Oh, one moment. Let's see if I could just change it up a little bit. All right. We got this going on right now. So let's open it up. Well, where do I open this up? Oh, wish we could. I somehow wish I can get this thing to go up a little bit more. Oh, probably need to get this doodle miku out of the way. Let's go up a little bit so we can show that we're opening it on the bottoms. So get straight into making this thing. Now, by the description of the stream, we are doing this based on a late Mother's Day whim. Fortunately for my sake, I didn't think... Well, my mother's been... Well, I don't really know the whereabouts of my mother at this time. I don't know where, or I guess when she is. Sheesh, this is a ton of instructions. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with. This is probably based on the bags that we have. Still though, instructions for 2 different types of flowers. Oh wait, no. 3 different types of flowers. It's gonna be that sort of thing. Well, the variety did show that there was a dozen in the bouquet of flowers. Well, it's a choice between which one to do right now, and I want to save these for last. So let's save that. Which one do I want to do out of the 2? I want to do these first. Which bags are we needing for this one? When you give or receive pink roses, they express the gentle, heartfelt love between friends and family. Their softly toned petals and sweet scent promise affection, gratitude, and joy. The gesture to celebrate a cherished bond or festive occasion. Paired with the delicate sprigs of baby's breath, this... Oh. So that's what the other ones are. Those white ones right over here. Let's see. The perfect gesture to celebrate upon our best occasion. Paired with this delicate sprigs of baby's breath, this bouquet of pink Lego roses brings an air of lightness, warmth, and beauty to any space. Que vous les offrez au nom de les roses couleurs, roses incarnées de l'amour, du sincère de partageant de les membres d'une famille. Ya sé que las regalas o las ricibes, las rosas... No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, if I were an entirely different channel, I would love to speak in that different language, but English is my strong suit. French and Spanish, probably enough to read, but not enough to hold a conversation. Let's get right into it. And you know what? As much as we have light, as much as I only have the light that's going on right now with this ring lamp, I think I'm gonna need to amp it up a little more. Mind that. Okay. Our first instruction. Oh, and what a coincidence. We're going in order. These are the first 2 bags that we have to open in order to build it. This is great. The beauty of ASMR, and I should probably put that as a tag for this video stream. Now, they ask us to dump both of these bags straight onto the ground. Well, onto this mat, so hopefully nothing gets lost. So let's do that right now. I think we've got enough of a perspective to allow us to see both the instructions, or at least most of the instructions, and the bags that we're going to be opening. So let's open it now. We're not emptying them exactly as the instructions would say. But it's the thought that counts. Oh, and it seems that there are other bags inside this thing. Swell. Well, as part of the first and second bag, we are still going to empty those. Let's see. Alright. First step is to find the green blocks right here, and then we grab 2 of the... Grab 2 of these blocks right here. Yeah, story of my life. I've got to go through 2 bags of things and already making a giant mess and then organizing it in the first place. Let's start by getting 4 blocks and then doing the same to every single block. So 1. So with every gold block, there is this one right here with these handlebars. I don't know if you can hear it, but my neighbor just bought up a new speaker and is testing it out. It seems that they're trying to get a performance thing going on in the near future, and they were looking to find... I think they were trying to find a speaker that could be portable enough that has enough power That's 3 of them. I need 1 more. Where is the other ones? Where is the other one? Where is that last one? Oh, good grieving. This is a test of patience because, one, while that's going on, I'm trying to find this last piece. It's already annoying enough. Come on, where is it? Oh, there it is. So that covers these 4 pieces that we need for probably the base of the flower. Now the next part comes with getting 4 pieces of these, and they all have to connect. Oh, nice. Okay, there's 2 pieces of these, and then we've got to get... We've got to get this connected over there. Okay. We'll do this. And we'll get that squared away. The other one. So these 2 pieces are parallel to each other, and they would connect over to here. And I think this would be considered the base of the flower, since looks like it might be the, I don't know, it's a bulb, or the base of the bulb. I guess we could start with making one of them for an example. Next piece would be these 2 together. The next pieces would be these black arms in the middle. And then if we really want to, well, as part of the next set of instructions, we're to close these flaps onto here. And then we get a green set of these Legos and attach them right here. It's probably a setup for the petals at some point. And the next one is to get another round of these squares. I guess we can also set these up. Now these two right here are joined by this black bit right here. And then that black bit is connected to the 2 arms that we had done about a few steps ago. And I'll probably get into the reason why I'm wanting to do this once I finish up this first one. That connects like that, come on. Come on, I think, oh darn it, come on, tell me that I didn't get it wrong. Oh, come on. Uh-oh. Oh boy, this isn't gonna work. I'd have to... I think this is like that, and then the arm for this one is connected to here. And then connect it back, so hopefully... Okay, that's good. There. That's connected right there. The next step for this one is to rotate it downwards, and then we're going to make use of 2 pieces right here to connect as the pink. and then 2 of the blocks right here. Funny little piece of work. So it's supposed to be, well, it looks like I had it wrong. Looks like this was supposed to be the bulb, and this is where the rose is supposed to be. Not too bad. And then I've got to do this, it appears I might have to do this 3 times. 3 more times after this. Okay. Now, the next one has to be this piece right here. These 2 pieces go to the left and the right and are connected by... Wait, hold on. Oh, wow, I had this wrong. This is supposed to be reversed. This goes like this. Making sure that it's like that, and then putting it right here. Next, in that same fashion, we're going to make sure that this matches up on both sides. I think this goes down 1. No, it's right here. Because there's this piece right here needs to align with the, oh, it needs to be perpendicular with this opening right here. Any further down would be blocked by this thing, which is right here. Next up, make sure that this part goes right here, and the next one right over here, which effectively makes the center of this rose. It's a nice touch. Our next step is to find triangle items, and there's a big difference between this piece and this piece. And we're going to make sure that they're connected right here. I think they also have to be like a circle of sorts. Excuse me. Where? There it is. Now that's rotated a little bit. And at last I can finally put in these things. And with that, I think this is the completed version of the rose. The step says that it's supposed to end right over here, and based on the fact that it is the first packet, it's a nice likeness, at least scaled to size to show the difference. Albeit, I think the white on this one makes the pink look a lot more white compared to its pink self. And it appears that we need to add more of these on the bottom. There'll be 4 of these pieces right here that we put around. And then we connect, I believe, 2 pieces of these. I think and apparently they vary. Well, either way. I think we'll focus on that a little bit later. Let's get started on finishing the other 3 that we can do in the set. And the lovely thing about having a stool in front of, on my butt, is that I can swap between either whether wanting to kneel or if I want to sit. I think the upgrade next would be getting a cushion for my poor self. Alright, we'll run back to the instructions, then we'll do all three at the same time to ensure that we allow a reduction of parts. And even more, it would allow us to advance to the next bits, building the stems for the bottoms of these roses. On an oversight, we finished 1/2 of a rose, so we have 11 and a half to go. I'm reminded fondly of flowers for this occasion because it's the most. Oh, you know what? I guess we can talk about Mother's Day at this point. It's getting warm. Let's see if I can't change some things in here. The only thing that's going in right now is the heat of the computer and the fan that I've got on dead silent. But it looks like I might need to adjust the fan a little bit to make sure that it's on me. Unfortunately, not wanting to make any more sound, I have to keep it on low setting. Makes such a big difference though. But let's get right into it. Resume. We gotta find 2, 4, 6 of these pieces, and we've gotta find so with 3 more that we have to make. 3, 2, 4, 6. Shoot. I'm already losing my mind. And we'll continue finding more and more pieces so we can clear out the board and it'll be a lot easier to work with. Those, find the other ones. So we've got to find 8 more of the hook things and then 4 more of these. So I've had a fondness for these flowers because I guess I don't really know too much about my mother. Or at least, from what I remember back in my earlier years, is that one of the things that she enjoyed doing was flowers, botanicals, or I guess smaller kinds. And she always loved making art out of them. It was, I believe the style for it is called ikebana, where a bouquet of flowers would be assembled into a vase or in any form of medium, and she would often trim said flowers initially as a form of art. It was a really nice way to pass the time whenever she wasn't busied with the computer. She was apparently she was some form of computer scientist, but she didn't really talk too much about herself, but all I know is that she cared enough for the family, and come to think of it, there wasn't really any worry or want. Along with her and my dad at the time, I know back then they were really smart, but they didn't let in on how smart they were back then. And there's only so much I can go off of them after waking up and doing all of this in the past 2 months. But according to High Key, doing this and making sure that my physical, mental, and I guess my spiritual condition could be a consideration. Just to make sure to do all of these to ensure that I'm ready for what's upcoming next. I mean, doing this and finding out about the subway was one way of seeing how well I was doing. But then, of course, there's also the live streaming. And either way, I feel like I don't remember them too well. What I do remember, though, is who was related to my mother. My mother, and I believe there were 7 others they were related to her in a way that I think they provided in it. They were a big influence. Well, she was a big influence to them and where they ended up. The first person I can think of from those 7 was a woman named Ceira Violet. That's Ceira Violet. I remember meeting her somewhere in the Carlsbad cave in New Mexico. It was a dark time. It was around the time when the robot apocalypse happened. I'd lost my father. I don't remember who at this point, but I do remember losing him. And the thing I was given was his watch and whatever was in his car as I sped away. I was in Houston at the time. At least that's what I remember. Now where the heck is that other piece? Come on. Okay, I found the last piece, but I need to find the other one of this one. Let's see, what else have we got so far? Where is that other piece of this thing so I can at least finish up and then get this satisfied? Oh, no, it's not there. Come on, give me the piece. Give me the piece right now. Where is it? Yeah, but Ceira Violet, as I continue looking for this piece, it was a chance encounter. I was absolutely scared for my life. The other parts of my life before then is that I knew I had family, but they were gone. They were all gone, and the only one I had left was my dad. And then he died because somebody killed him, leaving me with the car and whatever was in the car. His weapon, a coat, supplies to endure the night. It was a really dark time. But Ceira, she was there throughout it all. I was captured at one point while I was over near the Carlsbad Caves in New Mexico. Thank goodness there was a notion to spare the car, make sure that I put the car in a safe place, because I was captured and taken for at least 6 months of my life at the time. And Ceira, while I do attribute to her, she didn't exactly save me at first. I was mentally unstable to the point where when I regained consciousness and found out who had taken me, I ended up realizing that they had taken a journal from me. They took a journal. And in that journal was something that would let me keep me sane, because heavens, I lost my father and I couldn't do anything at the point. Went mad and nearly killed somebody that had the bag that had my journals in it. Something about that scene and that situation sparked an inspiration in Ceira to train me. Well, it was an apocalypse of sorts, the robot apocalypse, so you better to be trained how to fight. I remember the routine she would have me go through every single day. In the morning, we would run. We would run laps, like straight laps, about I'd say a good 2 miles. Sometimes we'd progressively get harder. 2 miles would eventually become 3, and I learned from those miles that I hated running straight. Sarah, being the Spartan that she was, said, "Oh, then I think you'll love running up and down hill." Oh, the irony of that. And based on the last Spartan races that I did a few months ago, is that I loved running up and down hills. Turns out, Carlsbad Cave, they had a section that allowed you, well, it was like a switchback that allowed you to go deeper into the cave. So, those 2 miles and 3 miles that I would run would be going up and down those switchbacks over at the Carlsbad Cave. Caught her by surprise, that's for sure. Her efforts also included me learning how to fight. Well, the other aspect of fight was learning hand-to-hand combat drills. It's surprising what I was able to learn in a matter of 6 months. She instilled the ability to fight with my hands, and sooner or later got me into fighting with a sword, a spear, and an axe. And I guess after watching my dad fight and unfortunately die, I found myself really instilling the blade and learning how to work it. Alright. What's next after this? We finished that, we need to get these green pieces. I guess after running for so long, and then calming down with a mentor of sorts that instilled my anger through training, I thought I had it good. I was going to stick with her for the time being, but there was a natural disaster that occurred in over the Carlsbad Caverns. It collapsed the tunnel leading to there. Everyone was living in the Carlsbad Cavern since it was a lot cooler in there rather than the outside. Stupid hot. I remember her words when the area collapsed. "Kid, you would have been an amazing student, but you've got to go." Sarah was religious. She made a makeshift church in the area of the Carlsbad Caverns, and she wanted to make sure that church was safe. It was the least that she can do. I guess something about her past really had her focused on making sure that church was safe. I said that I wouldn't leave her. And then she kissed me. That was the first time I had ever been kissed. At least by somebody that wasn't my sisters or my mother or my parent or my anyone that was close to me. And something about that kiss still lingers on today. I remember the smell of lilac. Her last words were, "Go, I'll be fine." And I ran. The 6 months of training with her allowed me to run faster than anyone else that was going out of there. I didn't care about anyone else. I was focused on saving myself, going outside of the caverns, and then running towards the car and then just speeding away. And something about it, well, caused me to semi-regress back into what I was feeling after my dad had died. So much that I ended up heading westwards. Yeah, westwards. N-E-S-W. Westwards into Arizona. Alright, here I go lambasting again. and had me running into a girl named Caitlin Ceres. Caitlynceres. She was a monkey. Figuratively speaking, something about her, when we first encountered. But the ironic part of it is that she was in a wheelchair. A wheelchair of all things, and she manages to sneak around, well, over at the Grand Canyon area, over at the Grand Canyon National Park. I again hide my car in an area just a few miles away from the Grand Canyon National Park. I want to find out what's going on because there's another settlement over there. Maybe they're good, maybe they're bad. Why are we hiding? Scare the crap out of me, caught the attention of everybody else, and bam, I'm captured again. Only this time, these people aren't exactly as forgiving as the last. Thank goodness, by way of past experience, I made sure to leave almost everything. I'd lost out on a knife and a bag. Thank goodness it didn't have any of my journals, but I was without a journal for the next 2 months, working grueling conditions. At times, Caitlin would pop in and see how I was doing. There was something about her that caused her to train me, similar to how Sarah found it necessary to train me back when she was back in New Mexico. Oh, we gotta make sure to get these on here. One? Come on. Okay, this should be it. Oh no, not that one. Oh no. 2 more of that. And 1 more of this. Oh. Preferably the angle that allows it to connect. She trained me how to be quiet, how to shut up whenever I need to, and also to sneak around like she does. Back when we were over at the Grand Canyon National Park. Whenever it was dark, and I guess she'd also be a good reason for that, she would wheel over to my prison area, and then she would take the time to teach me how to sneak around. It was amazing how she did it, especially in a wheelchair. I only had 2 months with her, and I get the weird feeling I might be attaching this wrong. This needs to be on the top. This needs to be on the bottom. This needs to be on the top of these things. Okay. I remember the time when I lost her. Turns out, Caitlin was very into motorcycles. Even to the point where, the week before we were forced to leave the Grand Canyon National Park, she let me in on a project that she had been working on. It was a motorcycle. It was meant for her, especially because she had managed to fit up a part that allowed her to use her hands to shift the gear. And it even allowed her to ride at high speeds. It was a rather janky modification, given the fact that we were in the middle of the desert in a canyon, and there was only so much parts that she can come by. With the amount of months that were into the robot apocalypse, I guess she was lucky enough to find so many parts from spare cars, and even using parts from the seats to make the race seat for her. The week after she shows me that car, a raid happens from the robots. I don't know what happened during that time, but all I remember hearing the day before is that someone had decided to destroy the church. At least the church that allowed for the... It was a multi-faith church which housed a number of people's faiths. Well, I think I need to be specific about this. It was a multi-faith church that cycled between who got to meet on Sundays, depending on the mornings, the afternoons, and the evenings. And someone decided to destroy it. And then, like on some strange frequency, the robots start to appear. And they burn through everything. People... I think I might have attached this wrong. No, I did attach it right. Let's see... Oh, this needs to be down here. In the midst of the chaos, Caitlin manages to get me out of the prison, because they left the prison people to die. It's a very strange camp. She got me to a motorcycle, and then realized that there was no way of being able to power... At one point, when she tried turning it on, the whole thing that she was trying to make for herself in order to have her ride it totally broke down on her. It forced me to do something about it, so no time like the present to learn how to drive a motorcycle. There's absolutely no way of getting the car back at this point, because I think the robots had come in from where I entered in. So there had to be a way to get off the national park area. Oh. Okay, this is good. And still need to do that. But we can put these on right now. We may have skipped a step, but it isn't too much of a step that we don't need to worry about. Someone had survived during that situation. Carried a grudge against Caitlin at the time. And I heard it too. It's like, called her the Invisibitch. The wheelchaired spook. Derogatory terms, but through her, I learned how to sneak my way around and make it seem like I was dead at certain points. As we were trying to escape, I get shot. Well, we both get shot at, and one of the shot manages to connect. And her trying to hold on me has us both falling off the motorcycle. Now, where's that other triangle? Where is that other triangle? There's the other triangle. And there we go. And we got 3 of the bulbs ready at the time. And now it's time to make sure we get the bottoms of these according to the next step on here. And then making the stems that protrude a bit. Not bad. But back to the point. Sierra was dying. It turns out that she had taken the full effect of that sniper blast. And it wasn't the only thing that she was suffering from. Turns out, the bullet from the sniper managed to rip out the insides of her body, and her body was a very strange black. It was as if whatever is inside her was also killing her as well. And I think she had done a lot to maybe endure through it. Heavens, maybe it might have been related to why she was paraplegic. She also kissed me too. kissed me. Rather long one, but this one was... I don't remember. No, not oranges. It was a... There was a certain scent that she gave off when she kissed me. She also... In the process, she also forced a letter into my hand before she died. And I didn't have the chance to open it because that sniper was still shooting at us. I have to be very thankful for her. Oh, wait. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow. Is this... I think these were supposed to be... Okay, something about these pieces makes you think that they need to be facing a certain way. Oh, here we go. Okay, now what about the other piece? So she kissed me and provided me a note. I think she wrote that note especially for this case because, one, maybe she knew something about the destruction of that multi-faith church was going to really mess things up. Maybe she was against it at one point. The note was too bloodied up that most of the words I couldn't get from it, but it told me to go south to find a girl named Belle Soto. And that was all she wrote. And after some trial and error, after managing to, well, the sniper fire eventually died down, and I'd taken the motorcycle to go south towards Phoenix. It was risky enough to go into the city of Phoenix. More so because Phoenix was absolutely barren. There wasn't anybody in that area. Maybe because it was too hot at the time, but it was practically bare. The cities were there. But the thing that caught me the most was when I was in the heart of the city. There was a ton of booby traps that were strewn around the place. In the midst of it all, robots. And those same robots tried to attack me at one point. And it was Belle that saved me. Now, unlike my other mentors, she deemed me desperate. She deemed me inadequate. To the point where she had me chained up and left in the area that I got trapped in. At least, that was one of the less than lethal traps that I was caught in. I remember screaming, "Help me, help me," as I was slowly being dragged into the more lethal part of said trap. It was a chain trap that was managed to snare both my left arm and my right leg, and got my right arm and my left leg struggling to get away from it. I was almost about to lose both my left arm and my right leg. It took a lot of warming up between the two of us to be able to get her to train me, and even then it was still rocky. I remember then that she had taken my sword, my coat, and anything that was in my personals. At least those were the items that I remember bringing from me back when I was in Arizona. Well, over at the Grand Canyon. All right, where's that last? Okay, there are two pieces right here. I think these are spares. Oh, what? No. These two were connected. Oh no, this is gonna be difficult. There was a point where she had decided to, I think, there was a stadium that was blocked off by a ton of traps. And I remember, in my idiot mind, traversing the trapped areas to get inside the stadium. And lo behold, that was the same area where she had put all the stolen items neatly in the center of said stadium. My items also had that envelope that Caitlin gave to me. I remember after getting my stuff, I showed her that envelope, telling her that Caitlin called in a favor. And something about that rang inside her, but not to the point of wanting to train me. To the point where she realized that Caitlin was dead. I never asked her about Caitlin that time. I should have. But it at least softened her opinion of me. I managed to navigate dexterously through those traps. Shows her that I at least had something to show for myself whenever I was with her. She eventually relented a little bit, saying that she would train me if I could find 3 things that I could show her that I haven't shown her. At my young age, I thought I knew everything, but turns out she was the smartest one. She was the smartest woman that I know. There were times where I'd see if I could steal something from her. But I guess she was probably trained by Caitlin on how to sneak around and be hidden. A lot better than I was, that's for sure. Ugh. Alright, where's that fourth one? Come on, give me the elbow one. Where is that 4th elbow? Is it not behind me here? Where are you? I've got 4 of you, but I need 4 of you. Oh, there you are. During that period, I would say it would be about... Man, finding 3 stuff to teach her in a matter of a year was absolutely difficult. Within a safe part of Phoenix, turns out all the traps that were made were done by her. Absolutely ridiculous, having to make traps for just a numerous occasions, but it was like time and she had time to do that. That was really surprising. One here. Nah, no matter. We can always rotate it to see if we can put it in a different direction. 2 here. 3 here. And 4 here. So within the safer part of Phoenix, I located a house that looks like it held a garden at one point. And I thought to myself that I would make residence in that place, because I do not know what I was going to do for 3 items that I could teach, Belle at one point. It turns out I was right. It was used for a community garden. And so I ended up making shelter over there. And whatever food I had left from inside that house garden combination, I made. I guess at that point it would be considered a living. I made a living off of spitting into plants and making preparations for such. It also turns out that there was an irrigation. There was a canal that ran through the place, but it looks like it had been dried up for some time. Interestingly enough, the oasis, or as I would have called it back then, it also had a map of the entire city, specifically showing the canal routes. Okay, we need to do 9 of these. Let's make sure we put 9, organize 9 by itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 6, 9. Perfect. Okay. So my idiot brain decided to head over to the base of the canal, and it looks like the water was still going as well, but it had been barred off for some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I remember that. I remember that event. I remember Belle at one point fighting me, making sure that I wouldn't turn on the irrigation. But it turns out it was a nice ride in itself. Rather refreshing, though. I guess after that moment when I had opened up the floodgates, we both got wet. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this connects to here. Oh. Oh, wait, hold on. This connects to here, so that makes that, and we have 9 right here. And then we make this. Excellent. And there we go. One of the flowers done. And it took me an hour just to get it. We'll speed these things up accordingly. But then again, we have to worry about the other parts. And the other flowers we have to do. Okay. We got wet. And then it wasn't just the only canal that I had to open. I had to open up 3 other canals that would lead towards the oasis. 9. 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. There we go. Got it. I like that. Well, the water was running, but I still needed to get it filtered into our area. Therein lied the issue. Turns out the garden area had a filtering base, well, a filtering plant of sorts. It was stupidly loud initially. I had to go through the it had a manual instructions on how to repair it, and had me looking through each of the parts specifically because this thing was stupidly sensitive. Thank goodness a place like Phoenix was barren of all things. A little bit of understanding of how Caitlin did her mechanical work had me understanding how I needed to do it for the water filtering, the water treatment tank. At one point, I'd finished it, but then Belle decided to rear her ugly hand in this and destroyed the work that I did entirely on it. It got me so mad. I was already down to my last 2 rations, and I had started. The plants were germinating, but I still needed water, clean water especially. And the only alternative that I had to filtering water was using tablets, and well, I guess I could have used the water straight, but I wasn't sure at the time. And there was a lot of things to be angry about. Destroying the very sensitive thing that would allow me to drink more water, along with allowing water the plants. Angered me entirely. Told her to get up 3 times. Sounded like a banshee the last time to get her out.
And for the next few months, it was all quiet. Her not being around me and not minding me. It was absolutely peaceful. I managed to get the water treatment running. Things were growing accordingly within that month. And it was a good cycle. I guess I'd like to say that she was minding me, but she was trying to keep her distance. I even felt her at certain points, but she wouldn't interfere. After that fiasco. At one point, it took me a few days to realize that she wasn't there. It got me wondering as to maybe she left me alone for out of spite, maybe out of pity, because sooner or later, the whole oasis was thriving. Managed to get the plants to germinate. Things were looking a lot greener, a lot cooler, that's for sure. And then she wasn't there. It took me a while to find out where she lived. She wasn't. I went back to the stadium to see if she was there. Turns out she had she had housing inside that place. I mean, what a nice place to put housing in the middle of all your traps. 2579. Three, 5, 7, 9, and that connects to there, and we also need to put a 10 over here, and this should be everything. Okay, let's get it all. One. That wasn't the only thing. Well, and back to the stadium. That wasn't the only thing that I saw over there. All of her traps surrounding the stadium were destroyed or sprung intentionally. And not only that, whatever the robots were the cause of springing all those traps. But it didn't feel like they were giving chase. No, that sounded wrong. It's as if the robots were positioned in a way that caused them to intentionally destroy the traps by running straight into them in a specific line. It was absolutely batty. Something inside me woke up at the time. I had a feeling that I was going to lose another one. Like I had lost Caitlin and Sarah. Something just broke. I will not lose another one. I will not lose another one. And every single time that played, it had me thinking, where was she? Where could she be? And I eventually found the trail of where they had taken her. There were 3 sisters, not related to any of my sisters at this point. They took her and, well, they were patrolling there. They were keeping her in an area where they had a ton of robots, and it looked like they were controlling them. The robots were in some strange sentry mode that as soon as they found me, they gave chase after me. Something about those robots seemed a bit off. In their sentry mode, they were just hunkering down, following instructions, but as soon as they spot me, something within them was being controlled, as if they were running at me. Something was controlling them. Sooner or later, when they realized that they couldn't catch me, they opened fire on me. Had me running entirely. But as soon as I was able to get out of their reach, something had me to turn around and had me fighting them. And in that fighting, even without any form of weapon on me, I managed to rip off the heart of those robots and break down its batteries, causing the batteries to explode. Thank goodness I made it out of the blast, though. Nice little bit of these. Imagine what the other 8 are gonna look like. Let's get you out of the way. Make sure you're spared. You know, we'll put you right over here, making sure that you're out of the way for the next set of pieces. What's next? Will this work? Ooh, that's pretty. I love how the leaves look like. And what about these? You know what? I was going to save these for last, but I want to focus on these for last. It's got a nice design, especially for the leaves. But right back to Belle. I was fighting the robots, and I learned how to fight. I used everything that was available to me at the time to see if I could beat them away. And it eventually came to the point where I was able to stab it straight into the heart and cause it to explode. Explode was rather violent. I almost lost myself. Had it weren't it for that strange screeching sound that it does whenever its batteries start to explode. Ow. 5 and 6. Later, I'll get 4 bags to deal with instead of 2 that are inside the bigger bags. All right. It eventually came to the point where I saved her by using some strange bait and switch opportunity. I remember running back at one point and then using the cover of a car door to try and protect myself from getting shot by the robots at one point. The robots that I managed to push away started hitting the other robots, and then those same robots started turning on each other. It was metal against metal at the time. And some of them even started turning on whoever was controlling them. It was even strange. I saw back in the base where Belle was captured that some of them were going over there and they were attacking them. And some ungodly screams were heard at that moment. I found Belle hogtied up, beaten and unconscious. The words echoing into my mind, I will not lose another one, I will not lose another one, I will not lose another one. They were there. And as that mantra kept going, wow. I will not lose another one. I will not lose another one. I will not lose another one. I didn't remove her from a hog tie. I picked her up and then I shouldered her, and I remember running. I ran back to the oasis to escape from... It turns out there were 3 people that were controlling the robots. I ended up naming them the Sisters of Despair. I grabbed Belle and took her back to the oasis. I remember the way she was beaten up. Her arms and hands in the hog tie were roped onto her too tightly that they were bruising. I remember for the next few days I was taking care of her. There was some ointment. There was a medicine cabinet inside there that allowed me to take care of her wounds. Her coat and her clothing were absolutely distressed. I saw a lot, that's for sure. Even when changing her, I saw a lot. I was happy I was able to help her, though. I got her into a dress and had her sleep on the first floor of that house. She was there she was unconscious for at least 3 days, and I remember her waking up early in the morning. At the highest point of that oasis inside the house, there is a nice view of the east where the sun rises. I remember waking up. I always remember waking up during that time. I also remember shushing her when she got up to there. Like, shh, it's the best part of the day. It was a day when usually just the sun rises and you really it's really humbling. At least the sun rises, regardless of what happens. There's a lot to be thankful for. I remember passing out afterwards. I was still strung up after losing her, and still strung up even after getting her, but as soon as she was able to wake up, I guess I collapsed, I crashed. Knowing that she was safe. And like that, I think I satisfied all the 3 things that I gave her. Though I think the 3rd thing, making sure that I was able to give her life back, I guess did it for her. Her training was akin to Caitlyn's. Well, it was a combination of Sierra's Spartan-esque abilities, coupled with Caitlyn's abilities to stealth. I think there was at one point where she really wanted to see how well I would do with something out of... It was like the Most Dangerous Game. It's like some sort of simulation that she was getting me into. She had me running and hiding and making traps to fight her against. I remember. I remember that moment. A lot of what she taught me was a bit unorthodox, though. While she did teach me with the sword, she did teach me how to fight using both the sword and my hands, using the environment a lot more. Like, while I did have the sword in my hands, it was better to have a variable that couldn't be anticipated, like maybe, let's say you're fighting inside a shop, you have a sword, why not use other things to put them off guard, like throwing something and then using something to finish it, using your sword to finish it. She was also very big into running in an environment or traversing an environment that's unknown. My goodness, I almost felt like I was very thankful that I was able to keep a good practice regimen, thanks to Sierra. Belle eventually added muscle training and being able to climb on things. It was nice of her to do that. Okay, let's see, what is the... Okay, I think it's like this. There's one right here, and one right here, and one right here. Wait. Oh, one right here. And then we've got to add 4 of these. And where's the other one? 4 of these together in order to complete one of these. I guess we can start by making these. Still, added muscle training and some sense of climbing on buildings or destroyed buildings at the time. Really brought up my training. It was unorthodox, but it was really amazing to see how far I could go. Even had me learning how to backflip and somersault at one point, but I ended up not doing that, just focusing more on rolling backwards and not doing too many theatrics into ensuring that I at least survived. It eventually came to a point. I was with her for 3 years of my life at the time. She was the longest mentor that I had. The third mentor, 3 years. Some strange prophecy. Sarah was for 6 months, Caitlin was for 2 months. I think around the second year, the latter half of the third year, things started to get boring for her. She realized there wasn't really much that I could learn from her at some point. I guess the last mission that I remember going with her was heading back to the Grand Canyon, at least the national park. Well, in the process of it all, she saw the motorcycle that I came in on, and she wanted it. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to part ways with it because, one, it was the only form of transportation that I had at the time to get out of the place, get out of Phoenix. Within my memory, I recalled that I had left the car back over at the Grand Canyon. So our last mission was to head over to the Grand Canyon National Park, regain what I had left behind there, and then come back to Phoenix. She would get the motorcycle. I would be able to take stock of what was still viable inside my supplies. And then I'd be on my way. But unlike Caitlin and Sarah, she didn't kiss me before I left. And maybe it was on account that she wasn't dying and on the verge of death. But she did say before I left her, come back and find a mentor like me, but make sure she's not me. It was very confusing at the time at what she meant, but I took it to heart. She also gave me a direction to go west and to go north. Oh wait, before that instruction, I guess with that, not only would she get the motorcycle, she would also get control over the oasis. And she'd have to maintain the oasis because it was the very thing that was sustaining it would also sustain her, surprisingly, as it has sustained me. She also kind of moved in there after after relenting to train me. Even moved her computers and everything from the stadium that she was at into a basement area. Well, I would think there was a basement area, but she probably took up the bedroom that I placed her in when she was unconscious. Lots of computers, lots of tech. And even a watchmaking bench that she had managed. She left me with a watch. My goodness. Before we parted ways and she told me that she wanted to get me a mentor. I remember back then she said, which arm do you wear your watch on? I remember showing her my left arm. And as soon as she looked at it, she took off the watch that was on there and, well, handed it to me. And then from her newly made den in the oasis, she gave me a new watch. It was a shackle watch. Let me be more detailed about it. She used a prison shackle that she found, looked like something out of a cosplay outfit, and she managed to make it into a watch. Thing wouldn't come off me. I guess it was that well made, knowing that she was able to do it. I mean, I was happy about it. Very happy about it. Oh, there's the fourth one. So with the instruction of going west and north, maybe to go over to... Well, I don't know where I was going at this point. She only mentioned west and north. I ended up traveling with the car. And back then I was genuinely surprised that I managed to get around just using electricity from said car. Of course, when I had returned with the car back from the Grand Canyon, we had to make sure that it was still running. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this should be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll make all 3 of these. Fortunately, I do not have my headphones on me, so I don't know where the music's going at this point. Thank goodness everything's open. Laid bare and allows me to work it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Bah. There. Now we gotta make 2 more of these. So I traveled west, and then I eventually traveled north because I remembered back then that I think there was an incident with California that happened a few decades ago that was I think wholly due to the San Andreas fault at the time. And I think within that, it had me going north as soon as I remembered that the incident was over at San Andreas. Up 3, 4. 3 and 4. Now, where are the other ones of these? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4. These look like spare parts. Oh, wait. Hold up. Oh, there we go. I know why this is different. There. There. Now we have all of it, and then we just do this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there. You know, they said that there were 12 roses, well, 12 flowers to build, but it turns out there might be 16. But then again, I had to make 4 of these, and there were 3 bouquets, so 12. Looks like I had to make 24 flowers. But those are done. So I headed north and west. Well, west then north. Ended up in Idaho. Ohio. Yes, I went east then north. I would have ended up in Ohio, but I ended up west and north, going into Ohio. Okay, what have we got so far? We'll leave you right. We'll leave you right on this side. Man, this is already looking so cool. Gotta find the L tubes. We gotta find 4 of them. 3 and 4. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, Idaho. We were in Idaho at one point. Oh, do I have to make another one? Oh, yes. Looks like I have to do that. Looks like there are more elbows. Where are the other elbows? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I gotta find these pink ones. 1, 2, 3, and where is the last one? There's the last one. And we gotta connect it using this. And that's the L. That's the L. That's the L. And last L. Wait. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There you are. And that's the L. So my travels eventually stopped over in Idaho, of all places. And it was around the fall time when I had left. I was so used to the weather in Arizona that I had forgotten the fact that there were still 4 seasons. I still had to deal with the 4 seasons of, well, America. And in America, things can get hot and things can get cold. Had me realizing that I had to understand my car, especially in those conditions. Even had me changing out the tires at one point, on a whim of all things. I remember when I was in California, well, at least for a brief moment, there was an auto shop that I went over to. And that auto shop, it was abandoned, but it had tires. And And the tires that I had on when I was traveling over there had been worn down, even to the point where I had to refill them. Well, constantly. Those warning symbols that were on my dashboard were absolutely annoying. I was very thankful that I understood how to work it. How to change the tires on all 4 of them. Again, harkening back to Caitlin's studies of how she did it with her motorcycle. And I guess Belle at this point, because we also looked into how we needed to check the internals, though she failed to mention anything about the externals. Pardon the camera. Where's that other one? So I'd swap the tires out for, I guess, something more all-season. Though I wish I switched over to winter tires because Idaho, it was snowing. Oh, wait. Huh. Looks like a part from another piece was going to come in handy at this point. If I wasn't going to be able to find one, I might as well get it from another piece. Alright. Oh, look, there's another gray one right here. But it does... It's a nice little buffer that these things have. Now, where's that other one that allows me to do that? I already have a thorn, but where is the gray piece? Oh, come on, where are you? You know, oh, there it is. It was wintry. It was a very interesting wintry mix over there. And it seemed that everyone was settled over in a university in that place. They were a lot more amicable with travelers and strangers there. And that's where I met my 4th mentor. Her name was Kotone Tsukino. She was a lot younger. I think around... I'd like to say that she was about 2 years older than I was. And in a similar fashion, towards the other 3 that I had had at the time, she took it upon herself to train me. Now, being that winters tend to be harsh, and winters tend to be a lot more unforgiving, she had me learn how to manage my backpack. In managing my backpack, she made sure that that it was accessible to, accessible to other people. Well, in a sense that people would be able to find the things that they need in an organized sense. It was a form of organization work that she wanted me to go through. I'd say that she was one of the more easier teachers to work with. For 2 reasons. One, I think in her time, she kind of treated me as a little brother. Something about her really sparked a motherly instinct, though, that caused a conflict between the 2. And 2, again, that spark, of wanting to train me of that sorts. I guess she was also the one that wanted to know more about me, like where I came from and all that sorts. Maybe due to the whole mother-like instinct that she wanted over me, and the conflict of her wanting me as a boyfriend. In addition to managing my inventory, she also got me to do a lot more, traversal between unfamiliar terrain. Had me rock climbing and bouldering, even to the point where, thank goodness, the training from my other mentors helped out a lot. Okay, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we gotta connect these things on the top right here with this thing right here. And it's to the center like that. Now do that for 3 more times. So bouldering and rock climbing were a very big part in her training. I had the chance to understand how she did in fact, all my mentors had use of a sword training at one point. Sarah had a straight blade. Caitlin had a dagger. Belle had a falcata. No, it wasn't a falcata, a machete. And Kotone had something, well, it was a single-edged blade. It wasn't a katana, it was shorter than a katana, and it wasn't straight. I think it was a tanto. I think that's what it was called. I remember she would train. She would use it to train. And it was in her that I learned how to do flower art, ikebana. While my mom was very big into doing flower art, it was Kotone that really got me into it, just understanding how flowers work. I remembered she distinctly smelled like vanilla. My goodness. But she didn't kiss me on the lips before she died. I remember there was a big mudslide that happened. Caught almost everybody off guard. Everyone was sticking over to one of the buildings inside the university. They were trying to get to higher ground, and I was looking out for Kotone. Something had happened to her beforehand. All I remember is that something happened to her throat. It was burnt and bruised that she couldn't even speak at one point. As we were trying to get to the higher floor, we were the only 2 people that were trying to struggle upwards. I remember back then I was holding the railing with my left hand, and then holding onto her with the right hand. She was too heavy, and the force of the water, the mudslide at the time, it was making things difficult. I remember screaming, "I'm not letting you go, I'm not letting you go." And the way she kissed me was pulling up towards me. I was thinking that she was going to make it, but she ended up biting on my wrist. She bit so hard on the wrist that something within it twinged, like maybe a nerve that forced me to release my hand. I got so mad. No one was helping her. No one was helping her by then. And I remember in that brief moment, I didn't take it out. I remember not taking it out on those people. I remember just going back, then somehow going to California of all places, and then realizing there was a factory over there. It had been nearly 4 years since the whole robot thing happened, and it got me to realizing that this wasn't the fault of just... Dang it, I'm losing the words. It was not the fault of the people, but of the robots that had caused this entire thing. So much that I went down to California, because in California, that I wanted to just get angry over there and vent. Turns out there was a factory of those robots over there. I destroyed that. I went mad. mad to the point where I destroyed so many robots at the time. I don't know what overcame me then. And in that moment I went unconscious, and then I found myself in a hospital. And there was another person there that took care of me, but I don't recall her name. She never mentioned. All I know is that she helped out. Oh, was I supposed to not do that? Looks like I wasn't supposed to do that. I was only supposed to do one. There we go. I guess I have to do the same for the other ones then. She told me, well, the person that took me is that she told me in my rage I had destroyed a factory, which caused the robots to go rampant to try and repair themselves. And then once I had recovered fully, I would be on my way. And to this day, I still miss the scent of vanilla. Well, of course, I do have vanilla ice cream, but I do truly miss that scent that she put on. I was always around her whenever I was near her. Probably the closest thing that reminded me of my mother, with how her mannerisms worked, the way she did flowers and whatnot. Back then, I had no idea of where to go. And following the opposite direction, I ended up going to the west. I'd been on the run for 4 years at the time. Well, I count being my mentors as being on the run since I wasn't with family. And there wasn't much to go off of. All my mentors at the time were gone, or at least Belle was still surviving, but she didn't want me to come back until I had actually found a good mentor. I was so close in showing her Kotone. And there was no way of going back to her without a mentor, so I ended up traveling for so long to the point where I decided that maybe I should go to New York. New York was fun. Well, I guess events leading up to New York were fun in itself. I ended up leaving the car in New Jersey and then just traveling across the bridge to get to New York. I think it was the Queens Bridge. Let's see. Four, 8, 12, 13. Ooh, nice. Got that out of the way. And where's that last one? 4, 8, 12, 16. And these should be all of them. Now we add the 2s on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's do one flower for reference. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks just like that. And the next one is this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wow. Looks amazing. Now we gotta do the thing on the bottom of these ones, but this looks cool. I was very happy about that. So my travels ended up going into New York. And I ended up putting the car down in New Jersey next to a bakery shop. And by way of past knowledge and what Belle had instilled me whenever I was repairing the car, I made sure to take out I made sure to detach the battery. I detached the battery so that I wouldn't have to worry about it too much while I was over there. And I guess my concern back then was to ensure that because I was going to be leaving the car over there for who knows how long. Maybe I come back within a few months to make sure that it's still there. But by way of winter, especially in New York, and especially given the robot apocalypse, there isn't really much anything you can do with the snow. I learned how to traverse it. Okay, let's see. Oh, come on. How does it look? No, I think it'll be fine. One, 3, and 4. It looks so good. During my time in New York, I had learned to make snow boots and a sled, and learned how to organize my items on said sled whenever I was traveling outside of New York. And I'd also learned how to make mini bases or hidey holes inside the buildings that were in that area. I remember, yeah, it was the Queensbridge in the north. I remember coming up there. I started off with a cart, and then I realized that it was starting to snow. The snow was getting a bit rough around the second or third day, with nothing to make sure that it would go away. I remember having to make a path outside of the snow. Well, that was the first time when I made it in the basement. I ended up going onto a higher floor of an apartment, and then making an effort to make paths with the sled that I had made, along with the snowshoes. Those were fun times. Personally, in the midst of everything, and after being taught by Kodane how to manage my inventory while I was in the area, it turns out I love the winter. I love the ability of being able to bundle up effectively, and being able to store your items in backpack. Because whenever you're in a summery or a hot environment, there's only so much you can do to removing your clothes, because one, your outfit, whenever you are hiking in the middle of a summer bit, it needs to be light enough, and it has to allow yourself to breathe, allow your body to breathe. Because despite being able to breathe from your nose and your mouth, it is your skin, the pores on your skin, that do more of the breathing. And thank goodness for sweat glands, because sweat is an important item that allows you to cool down. All right, spare items, and of course these. Well, let's move these out of the way, because these are not being used. Everything else goes hazy at this point. I mean, I'm reminded fondly of my 4 mentors that I had so far. But I remember fondly about having three others. Three others because something about it, the other three that were there, it kind of reminded me of, well, there was a thing in Greek mythology about the seven sisters. And I always and those seven sisters were whom I had, well, attributed to whenever I was thinking about my seven mentors, or I guess mothers at this point. Though I believe that my mom, my biological mom, might have been a part of the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters as they would call it, because she was the glue that connected all seven of them together. How many do I need again? 9. Let's divide them into 9. 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 9. 6, 9. And then these are also 9. There we go. Now they're all divided by 9 pieces. So there's a lot to love about the 7 mentors that I currently have. The 4 that I've explained at this point, and hopefully the other 3 that I can remember at a later time. 3, 6, 9, got it. Got it. And I guess even though my mother wasn't there for all of them, or at least the times that I encountered them, they were at least there to help me, especially when I was in need of training, being able to fight. Who knew they were all related at some point? And hopefully their training has rubbed off on me a little bit. I recall whenever there were times I was fighting things, I would often imagine them. Well, imagine me as them, fighting, and then relying on the training from them to do so. Wow. 2 hours in and I've only done 16 of the 24 flowers. Well, no. Yeah, 16. Well, now it's 20 because I do count these as a multiple of 3. No, don't lose that. 3, 5, 7, and 9. There we go. And hopefully with Hikey giving me these assignments and allowing me to live stream, I'll be able to learn more about myself. And learn more about the mentors that I've had so far. But those 4 are the more important, at least the ones that I know that are important to me. I don't think they're alive to this day. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, this matches up with that. So that's good. So, I guess doing these flowers is a way of celebrating Mother's Day for them, because they were very there for me, including my own mother, even though I don't know her too much. It's a nice touch, too, being able to remember them. I just hope during the time that I was gone I was doing that they were doing well. Because that's the least I can hope out of them. Okay. All right. And then we'll be down to the last bit. I hope I have enough. Heavens, I could be missing some things. Three, 4. Maybe we might be one short. Get the weird feeling that I might be one short. But I did take everything out from that bag, though. Oh, did I? No, that's a spare one. Okay. Okay. Oh, dang. Wait, hold on. Was one of them... No, that's the right height. Oh, wow. I'm off by 1 on this one. Ugh. There. Now this is all done. Took me an hour just like the last one, except I was explaining things. Maybe with this last one that I have so far, I can probably speedrun it to about 40 minutes. Spare parts go here. I might use these for something. Later, though. All right, last piece. And the one that I decided to save for last because I love how these leaves look like. All right, let's move you out of the way. Sorry, Pikachu. Hello. What do you got here? Looks like I'm dealing with pink, black, red, yellow, and green. This might be easier to work with, but I am concerned about the colors. How are we doing on time right now? We're currently at 2:03. Let's see if I can't get this finished by 2 hours and 4. And we'll slowly drop everything on here, making sure that it all goes there. And we do have spare parts from the other things, in case we do lose them. And this time we're going to focus on getting everything done all at once, starting with these. The unequivocated attention after being able to explain the four out of the 7 mentors that I had. I love them dearly. But to business. Let's quickly get these out of the way, and we can focus on getting these and then putting them inside a vase. And I'd like to believe that these flowers are created with the concept of people that are hypoallergenic. I feel sorry for those sort of people. I mean, maybe it's for a good reason that they have to endure this sort of stuff. But it's nice enough that people were thinking about them whenever they were doing this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, next up on the list, we need to add an L to the next part. So, we gotta do this. It is an L like... Wait, am I missing something? Oh, looks like I'm not. Looks like I have to. That. You know what? We'll keep this out of there. Make sure that we keep it in perspective. Okay. And there's that. And of course this. And then we gotta make an L. Let's take this out. We gotta make an L like that, and then put the yellow like this. L2. Opposite L. 3. And then the last one. There's that, but where's the other one? Yachimai. There's the other one. And there's that. That's 4. And then we're going to put an alternating gray piece right over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Where's 4? There's 4. I mean, I could have honestly done it alternatively, but I'd rather keep things uniform and I want to speed things through. And we flip them over, and we need to add another one on the other side. You know, thank goodness we have spare parts. Because sometimes I don't want to relent on finding more pieces than needed. Oh, there's another one. There's the first. There's the first one. There's the second one. Now, where's the other 2? Omega plus that being the blood type of myself. Now, where on earth? There's the third one. Maybe I should say now where on earth, and I'll be able to find the last one. Fortunately, it does not work on that instant command. Come on. Where on earth is that last piece? There it is. And that's 4. And then we gotta add these green pieces on each side. It'll be a lot easier to work with because we are dealing with the color green, and these are bigger than these gray pieces that I had to slot them in for. Well, I think the problem with it is that I have to flip these over, and I gotta have these stand so I don't break them. Right, what have we got so far? We also have some spare thorns in case we are gonna get thorns, but I doubt that we're gonna have thorns on these ones. Come on, I've already done half the work. Well, 62.5% of the work for this one. Where's the other 37.5? Where is the other 37.5? Spare piece. There we go. 75. Now where's 87.5? And then lastly, at 100%, where are there? Okay, now we gotta find the upper one. Spin the one around the now. Spin that out. What did it do? Now, where's the other 2? There's the other one. And where's the other one? There's the other one. Okay. This should be everything that we need at this point. And then we attach on the top here. This spinny part becomes fixed, and then we add this on the top, making it look like, well, the base of the flower. Where is it? Where is it? There is it. And there is it. Having a lot easier of a time to finding these pieces compared to the smaller ones. Okay, where is that is? Okay, now where is that last piece? Because that's something I need to look at. Come on, where is that? God, needle in a haystack. Well, at least you don't get pinpricked by a needle compared to having to deal with the bluntness of plastic. Where is it? I could have sworn that I could have seen it before. Oh, nuts. Let's move these petals out of the way and move the things. It'll be a lot easier to work with if we see the smaller pieces. It could be hiding somewhere. There it is. But we'll continue moving the petals and the leaves out of the way. There. Alright, with that done, we'll get the red piece, then this piece, and then the flower piece, which is like this. Oh wow, I did it wrong. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh dear. Okay, this was supposed to be second to come in. This was like a stack. You know, let's use an example. So, this was supposed to be here. And then the next piece would have been this. And that would have gone on here like that. Now the difficulty is that I have to get a thing. I think possibly this needle will help out. Oh no, it's already scary enough that I have to do this. Oh no, I don't want to ruin the needle. Maybe we could find a pen or some sorts. Come on. Wait, hold on. I wonder if I push down in here. Yes. Looks like that hair needle was just as necessary as it was. Very happy about that. And we've got that going on. We've got two more. Thank goodness white and red are easy to find. I might as well make these before I end up getting that. Okay. There's that. There's these. And there's that. How are we doing on time? 2 minutes and 13 seconds. 2 hours and 13 seconds. Not bad. Okay, that's there. Then we gotta get the... Gonna do this. We gotta do this 16 times. 1. And we gotta do it that way. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Maybe... No, these have to... Okay, are they right facing? Or are they left facing? Oh no, they're left facing. Let's just treat it that way. Do 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 do. Ugh. Already scared enough that I have to deal with this arm right here. I'm afraid of it breaking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. 10. I got 10, we need to do 6 more. Ugh. 5. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And where is the last one? There we are. Zareth. Okay. Now, with that done, we gotta put this on here. So we got that going on for ourselves. We gotta do that 16 times. So we had to do it 16 times to connect two things. I had to go to do it 32 times. 18, 19, and there's obviously a bit on the end right here. Okay. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. There it is. 32. There we go, you got it. All right. Then we got to do this for 16 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it all comes together using, oh, has to look just like that in the diagram. I'm gonna do it a few more times. It nears nighttime. I wonder if you guys can hear the crickets that are currently going on outside. Alright. That's all 4 of them, and based on the diagram, looks like I'm doing good. Making progress. Now it's a matter of adding in the other ones. So, how is it supposed to look like? And then we'll do it based on the left side of the thing. The other side. Hopefully it's not too... Hopefully it's not too difficult to attach them. Oh no, no, no. Uh-oh. Did I mess it up? Okay, I think it says to connect it on the one side and then just alternate it. And then connect it right over here. The only problem, though, is understanding how the other ones work. And it's supposed to look like this, but the issue is that they're not connecting on the bottom. And it looks just like that. Okay, come on. You know, this looks good. Despite the diagram, it's a little bit more unfurled compared to its usual self, but I think I can work with this. Alright. And we'll attach the stems and everything else once we're done. Let's focus on getting this thing out of the way. And then lift it open. And then the other one, lift it open like that. Okay, that's good. And hopefully the spinning part of this thing doesn't mess it up too much. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. Oh no! Oh no, don't do that to me now. I prefer it if you didn't collapse on me. All right. I think these will do for the time being. It's a bit rougher on the sides, but I do enjoy that it's like that. And now down to the last one. And it's parts like these that you don't really need duplicates of because they aren't easily missed. And there we go. All 4 of them are done. And unlike the other ones that have 9s, we have to, I guess, make 7s of these. There should be 28 of them. Divide them up by 7s. And of course, divide these up by 2s. But leave them on another place right here. 2, 5, 7. 7, 1, 3, 5, 7. 7 right here. 3 and 7. 3, 5 and 7. And this should be 7 too. 3, 5, and 7. And then the last of these ones should equal 7. Number of spare parts. And I believe the rest are just hidden underneath here. There we go. And there's a red piece right here for spares. Right then, let's get these attached. And how are we doing on time? Ooh. I got 16 minutes to finish this entire thing, and then give myself about 20 minutes to cover what I want to do for the rest of this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm on the right. I'm using the right ones. Had me concerned. Either way, we'll find out sooner or later that we're wrong. Once we finish up another set that have already been divided into 7s. That 2, 3, blueberry. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and this is supposed to be 7. Okay. Bam. Oh, this one's almost finished. Now, if we skip ahead a little bit, let's skip ahead a little bit. The petals and the leaves are like this. I mean, we can honestly rotate them on a fixed position in case we want to really do some nice ikebana work. But that is the finished result. 3, 7. Got it. So we're still good. Uno. Dos. Tres. Cuatro. And that's probably not the right way to say it. Cinco. Seis. Siete. There. And that makes 2. All right, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Set a wine to a sail. Come on now. Okay. And that makes you 3. With your respective leaves. Oops, sorry. Give myself a bit of a breather while rotating the camera. I'll use my feet. Ugh, there we go. Back in position. And just like that, I am nearly finished with getting a bouquet of flowers done. And you know what? I even have a vase to put it all in. It's right next to me. Though it could do, the vase itself could do with a little bit more color, and the color that I'm giving it is going to be a nice contrast. Good, come on. There we go. 5. That's good. And then the last one. Okay, did I miss one item? I have a feeling I'm missing one. Oh, there you are. Just had a quick look at my camera. And there we go. Last bit to attach. And this is all we've got so far. I'm effectively done. I've made all of them. Well, hopefully the petals in these will last a little bit better. So I guess it's a happy Mother's Day to all 7 of the mentors, especially the 4 that I was able to remember so fondly of. In reality, I actually did. There was actually another pair of flowers, another bouquet of flowers that was done a while back. These ones. If I could just zoom out a little bit further, I could show you the extent of it. Of course, I've got to move this little light out of the way. Looks amazing though, and how they are. Just imagine trying to get all the other flowers inside there. I think we can do it. Fortunately, I think we might have too much baby's breath to work with. A reminder to myself that I need to get a bigger vase for some of these because the leaves, I think the leaves ones are going to be a bit difficult to work with. Let's start with the non-leafied ones. Leafied ones. I'll probably put it in a post somewhere on my channel to show the full effect of it, and also a means to upgrading the vase itself. Oof. It's becoming a Leaning Tower of Pisa act on the bottom. Can't have that going on. And come to think of it, I could probably reduce the amount of stems that are on the bottom of this thing. See if that could make any difference. And it kind of reminds me of that game regarding, well, I think a company's called it, they called it Super Kerplunk. Except this is a reverse of Super Kerplunk. We're really making it a point to add more flowers into this thing rather than just not adding more flowers. Okay, now here comes the difficult part. Adding you in here. And I think we can add you all in there. Just a matter of knowing how to add you and where to add you. I might have to put down the leaves though, to make sure that you can all get in. But in the end, a bigger vase will always be the better option. Okay, there's that one. It's kind of scary though, with the amount of weight that this has, and it's the fact that it's on a, well, this table itself. It's a bit unnerving. Still though, the idea that flowers are just popping out from this entire thing really brings it out. Now it's a matter of making sure that the baby's breath can fit in on the sides. If there was a wider base at the bottom of this thing, it would really bring it out a lot better. I think the more concerning part though is just making sure that, oh wow, it's all sticking out on the wrong side. And then do that and do this. And then, wow, it's all coming together. It's all coming together now. Oh my gosh. This looks amazing. Well, let's see if I can't hold it up on the side view without messing things up. Oh no, I've already lost it. One of the baby's breath has gone dead. It's gone stripped out. I gotta attach it back. Ooh, nuts. I'm already cramping myself out. Okay. I mean, just look at this thing. Hopefully I can hold it without too much difficulty. Just the way that it pops out. I need to get a camera about this. I have a camera. I'm going to post this and hopefully link it towards the rest of this. Maybe as a highlight, because I spent 2 hours talking about my mother's. I'm happy about this. It looks amazing. Yeah, this is very much photo worthy. Despite having it look like this, it's all just scattered up together. I'll probably find a bigger vase. Huh, and I did good in time. I thought I was gonna end up going to 240, but yeah. No time like the present to think about things. Alright, I guess I can go back over to the strange scene of the main screen and just thinking about that. Or I could just leave this on here. I think it's stable enough that it would allow me to do so. You know what? I'll zoom it out for the sake of seeing it a little bit better. And also remove this light. Hold up. Just remove you. We'll reposition you for the sake of repositioning you. Put you right here, and then lean you up a little bit further so you get to see a better look of it. Man, that just looks amazing. I mean, I'd like to get a higher view of this thing. But alas, we got to move back to the main. We gotta move back over here. Clearly, I don't know if my voice was heard for the past few seconds. Alright. Be right back. Oh my gosh, it feels so much better to be sitting on something with more cushions. See, the bit where I was doing all those flowers, I was sitting on what I guess would be considered a bathroom stool. I mean, it's something I usually use inside the bathtub. Yeah. That thing does not have any cushions whatsoever, so it was alternating between me sitting on that and kneeling on my kneecaps. Not that I'm saying that I'm old or anything, but it would have been nice to have some cushions while doing this thing. And still, it is nice to see. It is still nice to see that I completed those flowers. And in, I guess, 2 hours and 34 minutes? I'm very happy that I was able to talk about those flowers and talk about some of the mentors that I've had in the past that have effectively been mothers of mine. But to business. Within this week, well, now that Annie and the production's over, I now have the chance to work a little bit more of my streaming magic. Wednesday was this. Friday is going to be... I want to do RuneScape. I have never done RuneScape aside from the video and short format. And it'd be nice to work with RuneScape especially, because I've got 2 quests that I want to do as well as some skilling that I want to burn through. More details on that as soon as I get on that stream. Saturday's going to be interesting though. I'm going to be doing another round of Stardew Valley Saturdays to see if I can't get myself towards furthering a relationship with a wizard, because unfortunately for Stream 1, I really wanted to tell you guys that I wanted to switch my name out to someone that's more appropriate, and the person that he's going for is in a similar manner. But, alas, Stream 1 is still in limbo. Even got it in public and it's still in limbo, processing for indefinitely. I'm going to be making a weekly post regarding about that. So that covers pretty much the week. And of course, I've also scheduled... Yeah, I've scheduled the RuneScape one, but I've yet to schedule the Stardew Valley one. Stream number 20 and stream number 21. Wow. I do hope with the... Well, I guess I can say this. I am a part of another production. It's regarding the signing of a Declaration of Independence in musical format. It's also my first villain role. The director casted me for a man named John Dickinson, who was a representative of Pennsylvania, which is also Ben Franklin's state of representation. And by light of history, the Declaration does get passed, but they decide to put it to more of a drama and musical. I do lose out in the end. That's the best way to describe it. Thinking that we can reconcile with Britain with peace talks and showing that we at least show some respect, but in the midst of the intolerable acts and the coercive acts, as well as taxes on various goods, all for the sake of recouping of a war that was fought on our soil, and they had to take the brunt of it all. Still, it'd be nice to see how well I can play that role. And it'd be my first villain role, that's for sure. Hopefully with that, I don't have to worry too much about theater. I mean, sooner or later, I'm gonna have to put it on hold because I've already sized up a good amount of a resume. Performance resume, specifically. Allow me to see more of my streaming go to light. That and I need to do a little bit more of the marketing side. HighKey has provided me a contact that I can look in towards that will allow me to market a bit better, maybe optimize my searches, allow for more hits, according to the person. Lots to do. Soundtracks to find because I was very happy with how I sounded for that D major introduction. Albeit I didn't say soprano in all of it. Alright. It is nearing 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think it'd be high time to rest a little bit. And resume cleaning, that's for sure. Though I don't know how much cleaning I'm going to be able to do because rehearsals are going to be Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. No, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Why did I say Tuesday? Well, hopefully High Key doesn't mind that. I'll make sure to get everything done within that time. They did give me about, well, this week and next week. Okay. See you guys in RuneScape.